Not such a good time happening for Joe Giudice over in Jersey. He's one step closer to being deported back to Italy. Well, ICE is involved. ICE just denied his appeal, which means, you know, that's the Immigration Enforcement Agency, Customs Agency. Anyway, he has one final chance to prove his case that he belongs here in America with his daughters and his wife and on the Housewives of New Jersey. His team filed a petition in federal court to review the ICE decision. But if they refuse, if his side, Joe, refuses to, if ICE refuses to talk to Joe, to even pick up the phone for him, then Joe automatically gets sent back to Italy. Forever. Well, Joe's been in a detention center since March 14th. That's the place where they were holding him after he got out of jail. And he was in jail for approximately, well, he's been not with us for like 2 or 3 years, closer to 3. They say that this place where he's being detained is like really dirty. You know, hard cots, cement floors, like really, really grimy. And I said, well, you know, he committed a crime. What is it supposed to look like? And he's being held right now. His name could hurt his appeal, in my opinion. You know, ICE and the entire justice system is already, you know, bogged down with a whole bunch of different cases of real criminal matters that need addressing. And I don't think that they're going to pick up the phone for a New Jersey house husband who between he and his wife, loved the luxurious lifestyle. She went to jail, maybe not enough time, but you know, she, to me, was as guilty as him. You know, he did the lion's share of the jail if they did enough time. I mean, you know, you're not gonna pay your taxes, so we're the ones who suffer, everyone. We're the ones who suffer that. So, you know? And if I were Teresa, I wouldn't even want him home at this point. I would be like, ICE, please send him back to Italy. You know, make this easy for me. Because Teresa is one exception to the rule when I say I do like when her kids come into the room. I do. You know, she's got 4 daughters with Joe. Teresa, how I would like her to go on if he goes back to Italy is that they keep her on Jersey Housewives. We see Teresa date. I mean, for real, date. We see the girls growing up and whatever, you know, they're doing in their lives. We see Teresa argue with the other housewives. We see Teresa cry. I could take her tears, why not? You know, that's Teresa. We see her work out. I don't think that she's strong enough to hold a show all by herself. I used to think she was, but nah. She needs to be surrounded by the others in order for it to work, you know? Now, if he does come home, say, you know, ICE feels sorry because this is breaking up a family after all. Teresa and Joe were in love. I mean, I believe that was real love, you know, and they do have their daughters, and if he does come home, some people in my Hot Topics morning meeting were saying, as a matter of fact, more than not, were saying they should stay off TV and work on their family. Clap if you agree with that. Almost all of you agree with keeping a family together. Well, I don't. Let me tell you something right now, okay? I am all about a family staying together, but families don't stay together because of kids. As a matter of fact, sometimes it's worse on the kids. If I were Teresa and say he was granted to stay here, I would do everything in my working power to make my own storyline interesting on the Housewives. Let her be seen hawking stuff, making workout clothes, cooking, you know, getting book deals, going to book signings and stuff like that. And for Joe, Teresa, I would have the cameras rolling on Joe dating, Joe trying to get employment, because you know his name is not so good in the streets. Who's going to employ Joe? You know, and Joe, I don't believe Joe is, I think his days of doing menial labor for minimum wage is over. I think he'd turn his nose up to that. He'd probably rather collect unemployment or maybe resort to, I don't know. I would not have him living in my house, and that's a gigantic house that they live in. He could certainly live in another wing and she never has to see him, but no, I would want him to get a 1-bedroom or studio, whatever he can afford, on his job at the Jack in the Box. You live down the street. We're gonna also keep the cameras filming while you date, while you be a good father. You're allowed in the house. I'm not gonna let you have a key. You're always gonna have to ring the doorbell. Oh, yes. You're always gonna have to, but you can stay at the house. If you wanna see the girls off to school, then you'll get there at 6 o'clock in the morning. I have no problem with that. You can stay until the oldest gets home from her date. It might be 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. I have no problem with that. But where you leave the bulk, where you leave all of your belongings, Joe, and where you leave your toothbrush, where you get your mail and call your primary residence and your only residence will be down the street, close so we can co-parent, no commuting. But that, I mean, now clap if you like that idea better. Co-hosts, the same amount of you clap for Joe getting deported as you did for Joe staying with my harebrained scheme. Now listen, I know it's been a long week for all of us, but you gotta continue to do your job, okay? All right, get on it, co-hosts.
Part of our irresistible scent collection.
Jesse Smolette received some more bad news. Well, you might have heard about this, I'm not sure. So cute, what a waste. Reportedly, he's been cut from an upcoming Broadway show where he was going to be the star. He was gonna make his Broadway debut and be the star. Jesse was due in New York to do a reading of the show just 12 hours before police told him that he had been attacked. Excuse me, before he told police that he had been attacked. So, allegedly been attacked. Oh wait, no, he'd been attacked, but Jesse was really attacked. He knows nothing about it, so they let him off. Oh God. I get my lies confused. So you remember the famous attack in Chicago. 12 hours before, or 12 hours around that time, he was supposed to be flying to New York for the reading of this play, his Broadway debut. It's called Take Me Out. The premise of the play is a professional baseball player he's also biracial, and he's at the peak of his career, and he's dealing with his racial and homophobic slurs from his teammates. Because he's gay, he's biracial, he's at the top of his career. At one point, people were saying this is the story of Derek Jeter. No, really, but that's not the story of Derek Jeter. I'm like, okay. But I was thinking, who's this the story of? I don't know. It's not the story of anybody. It's just made up by the people. It sounds like a fantastic play, though, doesn't it? Yes. And there's a lot of nudity, like the full thing nudity in the play. And Jesse would be perfect for that. He's got a very nice body, a really great face, and he can act his behind off, as we know. No reason that the producers should take the risk, though, and hire this guy. I'm gonna tell you why. Even though Jesse would be perfect for this, and he's been forgiven by the court of law, I don't know about the court of public opinion, but I think that whether you love him or hate him, you'd still go see this play because there's Jesse live in front of you acting. The problem is if I was producing this play, I would find him a liability, and I would pick my second choice. Sometimes the first choice isn't always the best choice. You might as well go with the second choice. I'll tell you why. Because if you're a hater, then the entire time that and you would buy good seats, which would help revenue with the play. You see what I'm saying? The play would be crowded every single night. But if you're a hater, you want the closest seats, and every time Jesse was doing anything on stage, you'd be like, liar! You know what I mean? Turn around, let me see it again. Mm-hmm. Liar. We'll see you out back. Or whatever. You know, when you go to a play, whether it's Broadway or whether it's your kid's school play, you're not supposed to be talking and making all that noise. And playgoers get very upset with that, you know. Well, maybe he got rejected from this job on a phone call that he was on. All right, I don't believe that Jesse knew that the paparazzi was watching him. He was out for lunch with his family, and he decided to go in the parking lot to take a private call. He was on the phone, this is in Hawaii, and he was on the phone with somebody named Ryan. I don't know how we know it's named Ryan, other than that we overheard it on the phone, right?
Ryan.
Yes, Ryan. And this is what he was saying. I did not do anything. The charges were dropped. You have to believe me. This is what Jesse was saying to Ryan. So maybe Ryan has something to do with this play, you know, telling him, look, don't come to New York. We don't want you for the play. Ryan, the charges were dropped. And I don't know that for a fact, but that scenario seems plausible. I just think from the very beginning, Jesse, if you were guilty, then you should have pled guilty, because maybe you would have had a piece of career after you did your 3 years in jail. He's still young. He would get out of jail in 3 years. He would still be gorgeous. He would still have a great body. He's a great actor. He can sing his behind off. He's very talented. And people would forgive you. We are forgiving people, but what we don't like are liars. Now what he's doing is, you know, he's still puffing his chest out. It seems like he's laughing at us. Why I oughta, speaking of Puff, not Puff E, Puff La. Look at Jesse on the balcony in Hawaii. Oh yes. He is out there by himself, and then he's looking at it like, damn, this is good. You know, when you're Jesse Smolette, you know, it's almost like he has a sickness where he wants people to follow him and talk about it and stuff. Because why would you be smoking what looks like weed on the balcony when you're vacationing with your family, including his sister Journey and his other sister, his mom was there and stuff. Yes, there he is having a good time with the glasses and the gorgeousness. Why wouldn't he smoke his weed in the bathroom, put the fan on, turn on the shower and make steam, wet the towel and line the door? Like the college days. Anyway. So friend to the show, Jenny Mullen. You know who Jenny is? She's been here before. No, that was a little lukewarm. Listen, I'll explain. She's been here before on a Hot Talk panel, and of course, she's married to the very lovely Jason Bateman. I'm sorry, Jason Biggs of the American Pie. Oh, it is the weekend. Oh. Sorry, Jason. Hey, Jenny, I totally get what you did, but you know the times in which we live. People are like freaking out over something that she revealed. Literally revealed it right after it happened. Just listen closely. Oh, wait, I have to read it?
Yeah, it's just a quote.
Okay, I dropped my son on his head, causing him to fracture his skull and landed him in ICU. And then here's the rest of it right here next to her picture. There's the son. We had to put the hearts, or she put the hearts over the face. They don't like to show their kids pictures, you know, the faces, but they do a lot of family time. The kids are always turned around or something like that. So the boy is 5 years old. And she admitted that right after it all happened. And, you know, my heart goes out to all the parents, you know, who have ever found themselves in that situation. Look, I'll admit first, I've done it twice. And I never told my sister, I never told my best friend, Reg. I did tell my mom. But my mom was the one who was like, you know, Wendy, it's okay, it's okay. Now, she never admitted anything, but I'm like, okay, she must have done something to us too. Have you ever, honestly, been clumsy with your kids? If you know what I'm saying, with the babies, the kids. Yeah, a lot of clapping, but it's low-key clapping, like, yeah. You know, like leave your kid in the basket on the top of the car and pull off. Don't laugh, because that happens all the time. At least a few times a year we see that on the news. Look, I love her honesty, because it makes people like me feel like I am not alone. And even though for me it's 18 years later and everything happened, you know, when he was, you know, under 3. I just feel like every time people see her, if the boy is with her and say he trips over a pebble like kids do, you know, people are gonna be mean and say, see, because he still has a tick because you dropped him on his head. Bad mom, bad mom. You know how people are. You understand? Yeah. Suzanne, have you ever done something to Jack or Pete?
Well, I'm gonna admit it for the first time ever. Brendan's gonna hear this.
Okay.
But it was the first time he ever left me alone with Jack.
Okay, and how old is Jack now?
Well, he's gonna be 11.
Oh, 11. He's the oldest.
Yes, he was a little boy, and I swear to God.
How little?
He was probably like 2.
Okay.
And he fell off the back stairs in the backyard and landed on his face, but thank God there was the garden hose was all wound up
Rubbery.
on the bottom,
Yeah.
and he bounced off of it. Had that garden hose not been there, he would have smacked his face and his head. Sorry,
Yeah.
Brendan. But things happen.
Yeah. Oh.
Things happen. It was terrible. I called
Brendan's
my
done
mom.
stuff, too.
I called my mom because I thought I had killed my son.
Right.
He seemed fine.
Did your mother have an admission?
She
About
no.
you?
Actually, one of us, she something with the carriage flipped over.
You or your brother?
It was my brother, definitely.
Okay. The carriage. Look, but thank you, Suzanne, for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
You know, these things happen. So if you are pregnant and you're nervous as a cat, if it's your first child, don't worry. We've all been there in some way or another. And if we haven't, it's just a matter of time. Just saying. So, you know that Aquaman star, that hot man, Jason Momoa? He's married to the actress Lisa Bonet. She's 50 years old and he is 39. Yep, they're married. They've been married for a while. You know, they have children together. Well, anyway, he's known for the beard and the mustache. He's been doing it in various lengths for 7 years of his life. But he made a video of him shaving it off. So he's shaving the beard off, and while you're watching him shave it off, what he wants to do is he's drawing your attention in about recycling, that the aluminum versus plastic. Now, I don't know whether this was a paid thing that he was doing or whether he's just that kind of guy, but he was trying to get your attention, and I'll be damned, it got mine. It did. But I must say, you know, my breakdown, just observing him as a single woman, I have to tell you that the newly shaved Jason Momoa just looks like another hot guy in the streets. Just, I mean, very hot, but just another one. Whereas this look right here with all the hair, that separates him. He looks terrible. Like you want him to do terrible things to you. Terrible. But only 3 times, only 3 times. Because I don't know about you, I'm really not a beard person, and I'm surprised that, you know, my taste has broadened. Only 3 times with a guy with a beard, because that new study is out saying that beards have more germs than dogs. Yeah, the study says that 76% of dogs had germs in their fur, but 100% of men have germs in their beards. Marco! Oh my God, Marco, yes. Oh yes, no more kisses for you. Anyway, Marco, everybody, is my audience producer. Do your job, because we got more great show for you, Marco, yeah. Up next, everyone, Morris Chestnut is here. Oh wait, he's coming up. But up next is our Hot 5 list. So grab a snack and come on back.